Radio Cayman,
The voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Wow, it's Thursday already, and it's the month of June. Sitting next to me, his name might not rhyme with either one of those, but it's the one and only Michael McLaughlin, and we're going to have some interesting discussion today as we welcome our guests to the studio. We started talking with the Cayman National Dance Company. An excellent presentation coming up for their third annual season. We want you to be a part of that, so stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. And Royal Fidelity Bank and Trust, money at work.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. And if you can help me so that I don't give Miss Susan any more trouble than necessary, mind you, I said necessary. Sometimes it's always good, yeah. But I'm glad to see that we're always so amenable and receptive and encouraging, nurturing, and supportive of the performing arts as we welcome from the Cayman National Dance Company, the artistic director, Jessica Eden, together with dancer and instructor, Miss Deanna Coggins. Ladies, as I said during the break, to watch the performing arts and dance in particular, for someone who probably have 4 left feet, maybe. I have a friend, she's been trying to teach me to dance, and she said, it'd be better if you sat in the chair, just watch and clap. Even that was confusing. But as I joke and jest, my heartfelt gratitude to people like you who take the time to instruct, to choreograph, to allow us as an audience to come out and not just be sort of bewildered sometimes by the amazement and the grace and the poise and the presence, but the story that comes into the dance. So, to you, Miss Jessica, welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you.
Now, Miss Leanna, before we ask you about dancing and instructing the dance and the whole calling, maybe set the stage. This year's sort of performance, 33 seasons. 33 is a good number. I remember when I was 33. In fact, that was last year, I think.
We believe you just the other day.
Yeah, there you go. And join us is Mr. Michael McLaughlin. Again, he has accepted the invitation. I don't know if his company loves misery, misery loves company, but I'm gracious.
Let's focus on the ladies and their event.
All right, let's do that. So tell us about it. Let's start with Miss Jessica. Tell us about the upcoming event for the dance company.
Well, this is our 33rd annual show, and it's titled Gratitude. Gratitude, in a sense, is a reflection of all that has happened in the past, basically 2 years, in a sense that we're thankful. Thankful for the experience of being able to enjoy life and still be here and still be healthy, being able to gather as a group and practice our craft. Thankful for the fact that we're all here. All here that we can share what we love, share what we're passionate about, and our dances are a reflection of that.
Yeah, excellent. We often hear that our attitude is determined by our attitude, but how must have sufficient gratitude for when we do get to that space, to be grateful, to be thankful, to be appreciative, nurturing, but also inviting. So, Ms. Liana, from that perspective, first as a dancer, what drew you to the stage? What it is that gives you that presence when you're on stage?
For me, it's an appreciation that my body can be used to express someone's vision. In some instances, an expression of my vision as well.
Okay.
Just an appreciation for culture in all of its glory, whether it's Caribbean culture, international culture. And as Jessica said, we do want to express the gratitude that we are healthy enough to be able to practice that craft, to be able to showcase what we can do, whether it's talent or hard work or a combination of all of that. It's really an appreciation of what we can do with what we've been given.
Wow. I mean, I've used my body a number of times, but just as a doorstop.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what you can do,
When you put your mind to it.
Mind over matter.
You gotta put your mind to it, yes.
If you leave it to us, you'd be surprised what we can get out of you.
That sounds like a challenge that I don't think you want to take up.
Yeah, well.
We'll invite you to one of our community classes one day, and you'll see.
You know what? And thank you for that, and I'll accept. I believe not just in neuroplasticity, but body motion stays in motion, and in all seriousness, we get so busy in our lives. Last year was a horrible year for almost everybody except the merchants or the profiteers, or however we coined that. But it gave us a time to think, to reflect, and to be appreciative. And for some of us, we were writing poetry, song, just short stories. Some of us were actually thinking, praying, meditating, exercising. Gave us time to value what was important. And for me, the most difficult was that I had time, but no one to share it with. The, imposition by authorities to dictate that you can't physically interact because of the boogeyman. But now to come out in this country this time and to be at the Hartwell in particular, as we tell more about it, and to watch the performances, to be reminded of the gratitude we should have. Michael, I mean, I know you're a great and gifted performer as well. Dance is in your genes?
Dance, I wear jeans when I dance, yeah.
There you go. not a kilt, my friend.
I wouldn't say that dance is one of my strong points, but I'm capable. Or not nowhere near in the capacity that these ladies are, or their students for that matter. And I would imagine it is going to be a mix, correct?
Correct. Yeah. We have a mixture of adults and teens.
Okay.
So our company member is comprised of adults, and we have an apprentice group, which is our teens. So they're in training to be part of the company.
Okay. Cool. And is there going to be, give us some ideas to what will the program entail? Is there, I understand the theme is gratitude, but do you have a way it's structured, and can you give us any sort of what we can conjure up in our minds as to what it might look like?
Without giving away too much.
Yeah. We don't want to do that because we want people to come and watch it, right?
Of course. But you can expect a variety along the theme line of gratitude.
Okay.
From a reflection of where we were last year to where we are now and where we want to be, that is expressed using a variety of genres.
Okay.
So we have jazz, we have modern contemporary, we have a little bit of everything, a little bit of mambo, a little bit of salsa, a little bit, so it's a combination of various genres, different. It will cater to everybody's likes, everybody's preferences, and even for those who have particular preferences, we try to showcase dance and express or experiences in such a way that even if you don't have a particular preference, there should be some appreciation, or we believe that there will be an appreciation for all this, for the wide span of genre that we have.
If I might ask, Miss Jessica, I remember in the early days, Miss Lorna, even in school, not quite that far, there was a passion, and you were one of the first ones that I remember seeing. You going from the student, the young teen, to just the older teen, the teen adult now. That transition, that time, that commitment, the dedication. For some of us, we don't stay with things that long, even if we're passionate about it. But your passion and enthusiasm now is almost as what I saw in those early days of performance.
Well, dance has basically become part of my life.
Mhm.
It's what I am, it's what I do. Without it, I think I'd basically be lost. It helps me to keep focus. It helps me to keep my balance. And I have to say, during the years of being with the company and having grown with it, having seen the different aspect, having a better understanding of what it is to be a student, and those stepping stones needed to become either an instructor or a real excellent performer or a choreographer or someone who assists backstage or someone who assists with costume. It's just so many elements to it, and having learned all those, area is an art that is very exciting. There's so much possibility for creativity. If you're not, you might feel, oh, I'm not a dancer, but I enjoy it. But there's room there for you.
Is that part of it? And there's a mental component because unfortunately, as parents, as teachers, coaches, but primarily adults, we say to children, deliberately and sometimes unconsciously, we don't understand, oh, you'll never be good at that. You're not a dancer. And that resonates with them from that first comment to maybe when they're 50, 60.
adulthood.
They still carry that notion. So there's a physical part, there's a preparation, the practice, the choreography. But is there a mental component? Like you say, it's a mind over matter, but is it more than that?
Yeah, it builds mental fortitude, and one of the things we focus on is in building confidence and ensuring that whoever walks through the door will exude that confidence. And not only that, but at some point be able to find who they are and be able to use that to their advantage. So the idea really is to make sure that once they come in, we will of course emulate what best practices are, but it's for them to build on their mental stability, on their confidence, their fortitude, their self-esteem, all of those qualities, so that once they step out, not only on stage, but once they step out as a person, you can see that they have that glow.
And then when we come back from the break, I think we can pick it up. We can extend an invitation for Saturday and Sunday, but to remind us as parents, we can pick up a new craft, that thing that we were interested in. We can introduce and invite, but also include and involve our children as we go and participate. In today's show, at the end, the song that I selected from early on was River of Dreams, looking at how today's show would play out. It's a river, right? And we all have dreams, but there has to be a hope and expectation, and look with hopeful expectation for the promise of tomorrow, as I've always said. So as we go to the break, Mr. Michael, when we come back, want us to sing a song?
I'll follow your lead, sir.
There we go. Well, we're going to pause and take a short break, but when we come back,
I'll dance while you sing.
You can do that. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's time to stop giving dads tools and ties for Father's Day. Dads want to relax just as much as you. Get the ultimate chillaxing beach kit for Father's Day at Savannah Pharmacy. Beach shorts, shirts, flip-flops, water shoes, goggles, towels, and sunblock. Let Dad kick back and relax this Father's Day. Gift baskets, including domino sets, coffee mugs, and so much more, are also available. Get all of your Father's Day purchases at Savannah Pharmacy and Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336.
I love my daddy, yes sirree.
Things just got a bit hotter on Island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
Want your kids to gain social skills, independence, self-confidence indoors? King Sports Center Art of Fun Summer Camp is the solution.
Make memories.
Learn new skills and life skills.
Activities include
basketball, football, dodgeball,
arts and crafts,
squash, drama,
kids aerobics,
bowling, and much, much more. King Sports Center Art of Fun Summer Camp will be held from July 6th through August 6th. July 6th through August 6th. Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Camp Membership includes all activities, 1 lunch,
and 2 breaks.
The early bird special ends
On May 31st.
For more information, call 946-5464 or email
kings@candw.ky.
your one-stop facility for fitness, recreation, relaxation.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Listen, if you can't give thanks on a Thursday, try doing it on a Wednesday or Friday. Any other day ending in Y if you speak English, if it's another language. Well, every day is a good day to give thanks. And I'm very thankful that Mr. Michael McLaughlin would join me today for, not just the company, the council, but also the great contribution to our discussions. As we talk to the Cayman Islands National Dance Company, Ms. Jessica Eden, the Artistic Director, one of the original dancers. If you look at it, you go, yeah, that's right. There for a while, and dancing is our passion, together with our colleague dancer and instructor, Miss Deanna Calkins. But just before the break, we threw on a challenge. Mr. Michael would dance while I sing. My friend?
Yes, sir.
Ladies, this may not be an episode of Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello, but if you want to leave now and disassociate yourself from us, go right ahead. Would you, my friend, stand on the stage?
I'm not getting up there. So this event is taking place this weekend.
Nice segue.
Okay.
This is taking place this weekend, correct? Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday at the Hartwell Theatre.
Okay.
Saturday at 7 o'clock, Sunday at 5.
Okay.
Tickets can be purchased by calling 926-1826. Or you can stop by Radiance Dance Studio. Or if you see one of the dancers, they will also have tickets on them that can
Okay.
be sold. It's $25 for adults and $15 for children, 15 and under.
Okay. And let's let folks know where Radiance Dance Studio is also, in case that's where
Radiance
they want
Dance Studio is located in Countryside Shopping Village.
to go. Okay.
That's not in West Bay, apparently.
That's in Savannah.
Is it really?
I was just checking.
All right. Okay, well, so that's where and when, and what time does the show start?
On Saturday at 7 and on Sunday at 5. You can also get the tickets at the door.
Okay, all right, great. In terms of kind of taking a step back to what the show is going to be comprised of, you've shared with us already that it's going to have a genre of music. How do you choose what the show will encompass? Like, obviously there is a specific thought process so that it is as entertaining as possible for folks. How do you go about choosing what's going to be included and how the show is structured?
Well, it's a moment when the thought of what is this show going to be about, and then we reflect in the sense of what dances have we done in the past that fits into this that we can bring back.
Okay.
Because it's always good to bring back some
Of
old
course.
pieces. And then we throw it out to the choreographers who may also would like to choreograph a piece based on what the team we're moving forward with.
Okay, that's interesting. So how many choreographers are involved for this particular show?
For this particular show, we have 5 choreographers.
Okay, and can you give us an idea of how many dance numbers there will be?
We have
20 in total.
20
The
dancers
cast,
on
right?
stage and 18 dancers.
Wow. Wow. That's
Do the math.
Yeah, I'm horrible at math.
And
I'm
it-
just as good at dancing too. So good thing we segued into this.
The show is 2 hours long.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's quite a bit of time. Is there going to be an intermission?
There's an intermission.
After the first hour.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's 2 hours of full
Full
entertainment.
entertainment.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Right?
I'm sure.
It's the burst of energy from the teens. Not to say us more mature folks.
I like that one. Yeah.
Don't have the kind of energy, but that mix of experience and maturity and newness and all of that is a great mix to see.
I think that's where we see the athleticism, if I can say. There's the poise and the grace that's synonymous with dance, but I think enough people appreciate the physical component, the strength, the strength, the stamina, and the like that comes in with it. Or when you're performing, it is very evident when you're watching it. I mean, we're seated there, and that in itself can be an extended period, but there's movement constantly.
Yeah, well, if I may, doing work in the theater, there's quite a bit of commitment. Can you help folks out there understand what sort of time frame it takes to put together a show, and when do you start preparing?
Well, our dance season begins in September.
Okay.
So for the first 3 months, we focus on technique.
Sure.
So after Christmas is when we start tuning in seriously for the show for that year.
Okay.
So it could take roughly about 3 months.
Yeah.
Of pure dedication. That means attending class regularly, and class comprises of first training, then going to choreography. And closer to the show, our time frames for rehearsal goes even longer. Like last night, we were at the studio till almost 10, and the dancers were not ready to leave, but we all need to go home at that point.
Wow. So hold on a second now. So you're talking about leaving at 10. What time did they start?
6.
Yeah.
Oh my word!
Yeah. And this is after a full day of other activities, work. And for some of the students, school, plus there's homework, and you, the rest of the parents, students, the community needs to appreciate that this is the level of commitment, the discipline, the dedication, and the determination, and we see that as the audience when we come to
Right.
I got to commend you for it, man. This does well.
We have several of the dancers who have been with the company for most of their lives. We have children that have danced with us since 3, 4, and they're still with the company, still dedicated, still committed to doing that. Of course, many of them also do other activities.
Sure.
Many of them are actively involved in community activities, churches, do other sports and so on. So it does take a lot, but for the most part, I think we all enjoy what we do.
I would think so. If you're putting in 4 hours worth of rehearsal time,
right.
and how many times a week?
It can vary anywhere from 3 to 5 nights per week.
Wow.
We're at the studio. I mean, we do give and take for the
Sure.
students.
Yeah.
And
Still,
family commitments and so on. But we are, in a sense, a family there. We spend quite a few of our hours with each other, and we have developed that kinship, and we understand what it would take to put on a production like this. We understand the various aspects of it. Sometimes you need to go over, sometimes you need to do a little bit of extra involvement. Our families understand; they sometimes help out. So it's a family affair.
Yes, it is
almost for us.
I think that's fantastic, especially to the comment that you made just now that you had to call it. Dancers weren't ready to go, but after spending so many hours, somebody has to make a decision. It's like, okay, that shows a great level of dedication and desire to ensure that what it is that you're performing is gonna look the best. So,
Well, we do have a call online.
Sir,
let's go to the phones as we welcome this caller. Good afternoon, and thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon to my comedian buddy.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
And to Jessica and the other lady.
Yeah, Miss Liana.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I must say, even when I was up and going, I'm still going, but I'm not up. That would be to dancing, that is. I still couldn't dance because I had 2 left feet, but I enjoy watching it. Because, even now that I had UC4 go through UCCI, and they have a dance show at every graduation. So I've had many to sit in on to watch graduations, and I enjoy it more each time.
That's great.
And I know it's not easy because when I went to high school many moons ago, me and Michael would know because me and him went to school together.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy.
We had a drama play called Fiddler on the Roof, which had a lot of, you would say, physical activity, dancing and so forth. And it has a lot of work, choreography that goes. I mean, it's endless, to say the least.
Yeah.
So my hat's off to you, Jessica. I'm proud of you.
Thank
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you.
And this is where I think that level of commitment from the parents, but you guys create an environment within there that is a family, and to use your words, to have your students come in and grow up, within the company. You are mentors, you're nurturing, you're surrogate parents, your older siblings, your coaches, your everything, and that level of instruction isn't just for the dance; it's for life.
Very
And,
so.
And our motto is dance for love, dance for life.
There you go.
Say that, boy? Dance for love, dance for life. Come on, Michael, get it on. Down. No, but that's, I think we see it very evident in many sports. And I think that's where society needs to appreciate that the students' involvement, participation, their interests and inclinations extend beyond just what we think they should. And to see a student, male or female, at 3 or 13 or even 33, being able to come to the stage and get over that initial sort of shyness to me, the confidence becomes very evident.
Of course, we see some that struggle initially, and then it's a joy to see our students grow and mature and come into their own. When I started doing it many months ago, that nervousness and excitement before a performance is always there. It doesn't go away, but you learn to manage and deal with it. And, as you mentioned, it's awesome to pass that legacy on.
Sure.
To
Now, I'd imagine all of this hard work that you guys, ladies, put in is done through support also of our community. Or is there...
Yes, our sponsors this year, which we are thankful for, who made this all possible, because the Cayman Island National Dance Company is a non-profit organization, and we are thankful for our sponsors, Caribbean Utility Company, Vice Closet, ARC Directors, Radio Cayman.
Well, we're glad to be partner.
Thank you.
Because this is where the community shows its strength. This is where we extend, an invitation for all. And you may feel an inclination, but you may feel a reticence at the same time that, I don't know. The caller said it. I joked about it. We have multiple left feet. Just happen if you're left-footed, that's not a bad thing. But what about right foot?
Can I also extend thanks to families of the dancers, or supporters, long-time supporters, new supporters, all those who are interested in buying tickets just to support us, to come along, support us in whatever way. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And once again, we all need to be thankful of the opportunity to be able to go out and experience this in this wonderful environment we have managed to maintain, and we should embrace that opportunity even more now to go out and enjoy your hard work and all of the efforts of your students.
I wanna share with you guys that last year we were ready for performance for the 32nd season of dance, and our show should have been the week that we went into full lockdown.
Oh no.
So just at that point of readiness, and we had to postpone. We managed to still put it on in December that year, and in the space of a time that we would have put on one show, we've done 2 productions.
Oh my.
So we've managed to do one in December and still prepare for this show. So
congratulations.
We're even more thankful.
Congratulations.
More grateful than
I think we can't echo Michael's sentiments enough, that we live in this time and space, and many people, for whatever reasons, aren't able to freely move about.
Right.
Let's do that, with a sense of responsibility, but let's do that with a sense that there's an obligation on our part to remain civil. So as we close out our discussion, invitation again, is it this Saturday and Sunday? Harquail, what time, and how to get tickets?
You can get tickets from any one of us. You see us along, passing along, just stop us and ask us. We have tickets. Otherwise, you can come to the studio at Countryside, Radiance Dance Studio, and we are there most evenings from 6, as Jessica says, from 6 until 10 sometimes. Failing all of that, of course, you can still come to the gate and get tickets. Our show is in high demand, but there are still some seats available.
All right.
Excellent.
Well, we might have a treat for our guests in the next segment, but let's see where we go.
And there's a contact number too you shared with us earlier that people can call for tickets.
You can call 926-1826.
Okay.
To reserve your tickets or arrange delivery or.
Okay. And you're also anticipating that people will still be able to get some tickets at the door, unless you get a.
Yes, we'll reserve a few. The theater is a big theater. And
excellent.
Yes.
We would like to see it really full. I mean, it's a wonderful.
Yes, indeed.
Just to support
of
the
course.
dancers, but also to echo what Michael shared. The time which we live, that we can go and be a part of an audience and participate in theater, in dance, in the performing arts.
Yeah.
You guys
take
are
a
amazing.
break and
man.
come and enjoy.
Let your hair down, right?
Yes.
Or let it out, whichever one.
Yeah, man. Well, for what it's worth, we've seen those of us who've observed casually from a distance, those who've been continually committed to your cause, continue to invest in the performing arts in our students and enjoy. The passion is evident. May you find it eternal. So have a wonderful 33rd season.
Thank you. And thanks for believing in our vision.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Dance for love, dance for life.
Dance for love, dance for life.
I'm dancing. You can't actually see it, but I'm dancing, dude.
Yeah, he's dancing his head. I'm singing even better than mine. We're going to pause and take a short break. When we come back, we've got a special invitation for our listeners to stay tuned. Guess why? Stay tuned.
At Subway, we know a meal isn't quite complete without a side, and that's why we're introducing waffle fries. Subway's waffle fries are oven-baked softness with extra crispy edge, giving a satisfying taste to be enjoyed as is or in any of Subway's dipping sauces. Order waffle fries as a side item for $2 or make it a meal deal. Subway, eat fresh.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
Radio Cayman, this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give me praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the Lamb.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call. He's a
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work moved through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
For the record.
For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you.
For the record.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM from 7:30 to 9 a.m. for Cayman's new Straight Talk Morning Show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record. Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman,
the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Man, Michael?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back.
You're a professional, man. See how you just slip right in there?
Yes. Well, thank you all for tuning in and continuing to stay tuned. If you still are, we appreciate if you would stick around and listen to whatever this is going to be for the next period of time during our open line. Reminding you about the phone numbers you can call, 800 534-8255 or 949-8037. Of course, there's still the opportunity that you can utilize the WhatsApp if you prefer not to speak. 925-3261.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, I say this, oftentimes, and I love to joke and jest, but I'm grateful that you were willing to, again, this afternoon to come and join me. And that spirit of gratitude extends, with the National Dance Company coming in just now and sharing with us. Now, they left us a couple of tickets that we could give to some of our listeners. So why don't we say, the first caller, the second caller, get a ticket?
First, how about the first caller and third caller?
All right, well, listen, if you want a ticket, for this weekend's production of Gratitude by the National Dance Company, give us a shout, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. It's a ticket that, one, is extended in a sense of gratitude and appreciation.
Absolutely.
And two, it should remind us of where we are and our obligations and the importance of us to, cement those relationships. Let's go to the phones, huh?
Sure.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne, and good afternoon to your guest.
Hey, good afternoon, man. How are you today?
I'm fine.
All right. Now, as you continue, you want to, go ahead, talk to us.
See, Dwayne, last Saturday I was invited to a friend of mine. He's an ex-journalist living in Cayman from Al Jazeera Network. He used to work in. And I driving me and him along West Bay Road, and I see this woman demonstrate in front of the Governor House. Governor House is a government property owned by the people of this country. And in government property, especially when it is official, like if you say the government building, post office, Governor House, any of these buildings which belong to the Caymanian people, belong to the government, the only flag should be raised in that ground because, yes, the Governor House, because we are British territory, it have to be the British flag and the Cayman Island flag. And that entrance of the Governor House is part of that government property. And raising a Jamaican flag in that property, that disrespect to the people of this country, number one, disrespect to the governor and what he presents, disrespect to the government of this country. I never see any foreigner ever, even the longest one demonstrate in this country before is the Dr. Lawarca, the Cuban. And I never see him raise any Cuban flag.
But let me ask you, do you think have there been any other demonstrations of any sort that may be, in your words, what is it, offensive, disrespectful of Cayman? I mean, she's there, doing what she does. But do you think there have been other activities, demonstrations, or displays,
Yes,
or events?
I can give you example. Those gay and lesbians in this country raising this gay flag.
Okay.
in
What
this
about
country.
other instances? Have there been other instances? That's two.
I mean, those. The one I witnessed is those two incidents.
Right. But do you think there have been many in the past and to
No,
date?
I didn't think, or I see during
Right.
the 16 years I live here,
Hmm.
I never see somebody demonstrate. Yes, if this woman is mentally ill, they need to take her to the hospital.
But isn't that the issue then, right? Maybe we should focus on it. If something is happening and someone feels aggrieved, and one, maybe we're grateful that we live in a society where a person can safely voice or demonstrate or somehow, indicate.
But Dwayne, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I know I live in Jamaica before for many years. I
Mhm.
know personally I meet the governor of Jamaica.
Sorry about that.
Jamaica have a governor,
Yeah.
and there is a governor house in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I get invited many times during I live in Jamaica,
Mm.
and I never see this type of disrespect. I can't understand how the governor go to his house, our governor, this governor, go to his house, see a woman wearing a shirt, half of her backside showing in the road, and she bending down and shaking her backside front of our governor house.
But I mean, isn't that, maybe look at it from the other side, isn't that a sign of a very healthy democracy that people can safely and freely voice their displeasure or draw attention to a particular cause? I mean, what would you think would be a better one? When someone does that, we cart them off in chains and lock them in a dungeon?
But Dwayne,
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne, the way how this woman disrespect in this country, I think if she have mental issues, she need to go to the hospital.
But
Where is her
where's the
family?
society to draw alongside to make sure that anybody who seemingly has, in their minds, feel aggrieved or may in fact have some issue? I mean, how many of the people we see walking the streets, whether it's addiction problem or otherwise, they're unemployed, they're feeling a bit despondent? Where are we as a community to draw alongside that person? Or what about whether they're came on as a generation past, or whether they're just here recently and they're feeling that their work and environment isn't the most conducive, safe, rewarding place, but they get up and go? And are we willing to turn a blind eye to any of those infractions, those misgivings, or even sometimes those quote-unquote abuses?
Yeah, Dwayne, if this woman have a problem with whoever he is the problem, didn't the governor every day pass front of this woman?
Mm-hmm.
Why he can't stop and ask her what is your problem?
Well, we heard
can find a solution.
Yeah, we heard the governor's share, and this is just repeating in a paraphrase from what he said, that they've had a chat with her in the glass house. They talked about the new $100 million building, and had a chat with her, and wasn't able to do any more. But if she posed a threat, I'm sure that the governor's security detail, the level of thing there, if there was even a semblance that she was out of order or in any way posed a threat, do you not think that would have been addressed?
But Dwayne, why? If he speak to her 3 times, that's fine.
He didn't say 3 times. I didn't hear him.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever times he speak to her. If this woman, she don't stop, there is law in this country. The law, you need permission to demonstrate for long.
But maybe that should be a law that we shouldn't have. I mean, I give you permission so you can have a freedom to speak. I think the bigger issue is if she or anybody else feels aggrieved, there should be an immediate way for that person to demonstrate it, and a deliberate, direct, very, very respectful response to assist. Now, if something isn't right with the way it's done, fair enough. If something has transpired, we should not ignore it, but it should be publicly and properly resolved. Thanks very much for that, and I think this is maybe the signs of a semblance of anyway.
Yeah, there's lots of different perspectives on this, and I can appreciate that many people have expressed their displeasure with the display of another nationality's flag on government property, and as you have just said, that if that really is the issue that others have against her opportunity as freedom of speech, then maybe the course of action is just to remove those flags and explain to her that that's not.
As we go to the breakdown, respectfully, if that's going to be our concern, then we need to look at it all in Sunday. Think of the yacht that comes into harbour. It should fly both flags, not just as registered flag, but the host harbour as well, right? Yes. But those of us drive around the cars or do other activities, exclude and not include and somehow malign, maybe those are more egregious. All right, let's pause, hit this break. When we come back, more talk today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Cayman remains on the amber rating list for inbound travel to England, according to a statement released by the Governor's office Thursday. His Excellency Governor Martin Roper says he is, quote, very disappointed that Cayman, along with all overseas territories in the region, will for now remain on the amber list. This means that on arrival into England, a period of 10 days isolation is mandatory, with PCR tests on days 2 and 8. There remains the option to pay for the test to release scheme after 5 days. A negative result ends self-isolation early. Turning to international news now, the Queen will meet U.S. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden next week, Buckingham Palace has said. The meeting at Windsor Castle on Sunday, June 13th coincides with the end of Mr. Biden's visit to Britain for the G7 summit of leaders from the world's biggest economies. Mr. Biden will be the 12th serving U.S. president the Queen has met as monarch. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu has lashed out at a newly agreed coalition which looks set to remove him from power after 12 years as prime minister. Mr. Netanyahu called on right-wing members of parliament to block the coalition from taking office. 8 opposition parties reached an agreement to work together to form a new government late on Wednesday, but the group from across Israel's political spectrum still needs parliamentary backing to take office. No date has so far been set for such a vote. And thousands of volunteers have pulled out of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics in recent weeks. Organizers said, fueling concerns Japan may not be ready to host the rescheduled games as the country struggles to rein in a new wave of COVID-19 cases. About 10,000 of the 80,000 registered volunteers supporting athletic events had quit as of Wednesday, according to Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee officials. The chief executive of the organizing committee told Japanese media he does not believe the volunteer withdrawals will impact the operation of the games, which were postponed last year due to the pandemic. The rescheduled event is due to start on July 23rd. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
How much do you love your dad? You can count the ways with Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square and Grand Harbor. On Sunday, June 20th, honor your dad with the best and funniest Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, photo frames, coffee mugs, and even beer pint glasses. Complete the gift with brand name colognes and aftershave products. Healthcare Pharmacy, Governor Square, and Grand Harbor. We care about your health and your dad.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
James William Algernon Ryan, JP, 1913 to 2007. Mr. Algie Ryan served for 17 years as head teacher in Cayman Brac. He also had a night school and taught commercial subjects, including typing and accounting. He later became a realtor, an attorney, and an insurance agent. He is today the longest-serving realtor in the Cayman Islands. He operated a weekly boat service between Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, transporting mail, cargo, and passengers. Later, he was a director of Little Cayman Enterprises, the company that developed the Southern Cross Club, the first guest facility on Little Cayman. In the early 1960s, he leased land and oversaw the construction of the Edward Bodden Airfield in Little Cayman, which is still in use today. He served for a time in the Legislative Assembly as a nominated member.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Michael McLaughlin for sitting in with us, man. As we now turn attention to all the good things happening over at UCCI, we have a great time. Michael, should I do the introductions?
Yes,
should
sir.
ask them? You think I should do that?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
well, the President and CEO of UCCI, Dr. Stacey McAfee. And before we ask Ms. Thompson, DC, as the Director of Admissions and Registration, to join us. Ms. Leah Archibald, I think you've had some stellar students over the years. And to her father's credit, may I say, as a dad myself, it's such a pleasure to see a wonderful, talented, dedicated, intelligent lady who presents so well. I hope I'm not speaking like a father, but we're proud of you, man. I mean, dads make good daughters, and daughters make dads proud. It's a pleasure always, Miss Leo.
She makes all of us proud.
She is. You are incredible. So.
Thank you very much.
But Dr. Stacey, from that perspective, we see education and instruction sometimes more from a parent's perspective as much as the educators and administrators, where we're teaching to a test. We have a curriculum. We got to get through, the timetable. We do those things, and yet somehow we want the student to come away with some other attributes. Critical thinkers and learners, knowing how to discern certain things, how to research, how to interact with others, how to be leaders amongst their peers. But when that transpires, it's only after the fact. It isn't in one cycle, whether it's a 4-year cycle or an academic term. It's 15, 20 years later that we see the proof in the pudding. Thankfully, people like Miss Leah, you can almost see the immediate. So, commendo.
Well, thank you. I couldn't agree more, and I think the focus is on learning.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we learn in all sorts of circumstances, and Leah is a perfect example of what we're trying to work together to ensure that all students accomplish while they're at UCCI, which is experience-based learning. We call it experiential learning, as well as incredible learning in the classroom with talented faculty and cutting-edge curriculum. And ultimately that through those processes, service within the community, clubs, sports activities, that through all of that you learn how to be an excellent version of yourself, and you emerge confident to take on opportunities both locally and globally. And the talent that exists here in the Cayman Islands is certainly ripe for the opportunities that we're building.
Yeah. Michael, that's it. I mean, we have incredible talent, untapped potential, but there's much that is there and evident, but for some reason not sufficient to showcase and celebrate it.
Very true, very true. And we were having a brief discussion just before the mics opened up as to what the achievements are of Miss Leah. You want to share with our listening audience what's going on
most
with you?
Definitely. So I have completed an associate's degree in business administration back in 2019, and I have actually just graduated from my bachelor's in business management with a concentration, in business administration with a concentration in management and a minor in marketing just in April. Wow. So right now I am currently about to pursue my master's degree in marketing, but this is going to be in the UK.
Excellent. So that's what Dr. Stacey was mentioning to us, is that the opportunities here at the college to be able to get yourself prepared for just about anything, and then you the opportunity, then the stepping stone to go into the real world or the larger world. How about that? The larger world, to really get that final. You're going for your master's, correct?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's a strong testament towards the college also, and what you all are able to achieve.
Thank you.
If I could maybe ask first to you, Dr. Stacey, and then Leo. Sort of the preparation for students, associates, bachelors, and then eventually they step up maybe for graduate studies. But to you first, that preparation so that the students, as they come out of high school and they go in and then they do their time. Is it a normal 4 years? Is it longer? Can it be shorter? And then what that preparation is like. And then to Leo, the decision to maybe study your undergrad here as opposed to doing what some may have done, traditional associates, or even the 4 years elsewhere. But to you, that preparation, that planning, that whole sort of process.
I think at University College, we have an opportunity to serve students. If they're attending full-time, it is very likely that they can complete in an associate degree in 2 years, a bachelor's degree in another 2 years, and also take advantage of extracurricular activities. We do have a number of students that purposefully choose to go part-time. Many are working adults.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And others are young adults that are also working, and so we support students in any means that works for them. But you'll hear a lot around the world that students are taking 5 or 6 years to complete a bachelor's degree, but that's not necessarily the case at UCCI. And it's important to me that we find a way to get students through those programs with good advisement, with the support they need, because the idea is that they are anxious and excited to apply those skills to what they want to accomplish in their life, and I don't want it to take an extra year or two for them to do that.
Right. So from that perspective then, whether they do the associates here and then go off for further studies, or they do the bachelor's and then go to graduate studies, the partnerships, those agreements with the universities to take the transcripts, the credits to get admission, what is that like? And for some that may have the mistaken perception that, it's of little or no value. I hope that's not the case anymore, but help us. First,
do you want me to?
Yes,
please. So obviously our accreditations are internationally recognised, and the awards that you get with us will work all over the world. You can take them anywhere. So a lot of our students go to England, they go to the States, they go to Canada, they will move across. So there is a common misconception in some places that when you study at UCCI, perhaps it won't.
Right.
But that's not the case at all. It's a standard award that you will get, and you can take it anywhere in the world. And a lot of our students even stay with us for postgrad studies.
Yes.
So they'll do associates, bachelors, and go on to postgrad. We go all the way up. So that option is there as well. You can stay with us all the way through your studies, or you can go anywhere in the world.
Yes, now, I think, Ms. Susan, we have a break to take. Is that... No? We can take the break? Yes, keep talking. I hope. Thank you. She's the boss. She says she has to talk, and let me see if I can fix him up. So I appreciate her for doing that, because it gives us a chance to have an uninterrupted discussion. If I can, then, Ms. Leo, given that the preparation is there, the accreditation and the credits and the transfers, obviously, takes you seamlessly to anywhere. If it's not in a position and asking too much of you, the decision to stay here and study for the full time is commendable as a parent. I mean, that is like, for us, wow. A few more years to with our child. For you, what were the driving forces for remaining here initially?
When I first came to UCCI, I joined the dual enrollment program because I was still in high school. I was just completing my year 12. So from Clifton Hunter that I came from. I was super excited because it's just another level that I'll be going on, and it's business. It's something that I always loved, and I picked that up from both my parents, and I then went on to my associate's degree in business, completed all my courses. Everything was just really well, and I've just put academics first, because I know that as a lot of people have told me, no one can take away your knowledge.
Yeah,
that's something that no one can take away. So I've always had that in the back of my mind from 2016 until now, and I know that something that I've always wanted to do is to make everyone around me very proud, because you feel good about yourself, and you know that you would just look back and say, wow, I've really done that.
Awesome.
I completed my associates, my bachelor's at such a young age. It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I think that's the opportunity. I mean, sometimes we look at history and we see different people and we read about them at this age, a lot earlier than their peers. They've done something significant, got their bachelor's degree, they're well on the way. And we don't appreciate that we can do that right here in Cayman with a reputable, respected, transferable, recognizable degree.
Yeah.
So Ms. Thompson, from that process then, here's the parent who's now looking at the child over the summer, one more year of high school perhaps, graduated, and even now, their thought process, the encouragement to pick up what UCC has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I think more and more people are seeing us as a viable option, and it shows in our enrolment for the term we're in now, so our summer enrolment. We've got 1,000 students almost enrolled right now.
Oh, wow.
Just for this semester, and that's 20% more than last year, and that was more than the year before, and more than the year before. So it seems that more and more now our name's getting out there, and people are seeing that we do offer the same as any other university, whether that be in America or England or anywhere else, and our quality is just as good, if not better in some cases. So we are being seen as a viable option, and I think some of it's COVID maybe helped a bit as well, because people started looking locally because they didn't want to travel, or they didn't want children to travel, and people who may not have known what we offered before understood what we offered and decided it was a good option. So I think our brand's getting out there. I think it's growing, and I think for fall, we're just opening fall applications today, so people can start applying for fall now. I expect to see big numbers again, really. I mean, we turned people away for summer.
Did you really?
In some cases,
awesome. That's fantastic.
And if people apply early, the key thing is if people apply early for fall, we can put more classes on.
Sure.
Because we will know what the demand
is.
So we don't have to turn people away. So it's looking good.
We want to ask about the application process, you shared the deadline as well, but not just the process, but what potential is on offer, and what are some of the staples that you have as well, so that people can realize that it's not just this, but it's this, and this.
So it's hard really, because we offer a bit of everything for all ages, from DE students, so year 12 students, to certificate level, associate level, bachelor's, postgrad. We have continuing education for people who are in the workplace. We have hobby type courses, fruit carving and steel pan and languages, and literally there is pretty much something for everybody. And TVET's growing at the moment. So TVET is your vocational, lots of trades, plumbing, electrical, that kind of thing. So we pretty much do have something for everybody. There is no need to look elsewhere if you want to stay local. And like I say, it's all here. So people can visit our website, they can drop in and see us. We're open all summer. They can get advice over the phone. Whatever method they want to use, we can help, and we can find something for them.
Excellent. Sounds great.
No, it does, man. And think of it from the student who is, for whatever reason, unable, not quite yet ready to travel overseas, whether it's for the first 2 years, whether they want to complete their bachelor's. That continued connection with the community and with the family is there. The extra savings financially and time-wise is very noticeable and almost immeasurable. But then when you travel, you have, as a student, for want of a better word, more maturity, more of a disciplined approach, you're more focused. You now have something that gives you a little more credentials here. I've come out of the starting gate, and the finish line isn't that far ahead.
Yeah, that's right, because when I had finished my associates, I initially wanted to go abroad because, I wanted to pursue more into marketing. That's like my career goal. And at the time, UCCI didn't offer that. But, at the end of each semester, the faculty would conduct a survey, a teacher's evaluation and
Okay.
also evaluation of your experience at UCCI so far.
Right.
So I know that my last semester of my associates, I put in under the comments, please add a marketing degree there.
Okay.
So I got everything sorted out for the UK. I got my government scholarship. I got my unconditional letter from my university. But a few days before I decided to really leave, that's when I found out that UCCI was offering a marketing minor in the bachelor's program. So I've made the decision to stay at UCCI, just convert, do the conversion, and then just do another 2 years, and then have my Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration with a concentration in management and a minor in marketing. Just that alone saved me 2 extra years from actually doing a new bachelor's degree.
Wow. That's
So-
fantastic.
And I know that in 2019, I was 18 years old. So I still felt that I wasn't ready to go abroad and to live by myself. You know, a new environment, new culture, new people. You know, I was, a bit scared.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
You were scared. Check your parents. Sorry,
Right.
say that loud.
But so that's why I decided to stay, and I'm honestly so happy that I did because I've matured more, and I've actually, joined the student government at UCCI,
Excellent.
and I'm president right now.
I see that on your
Yes.
shirt. Congratulations.
Well, I thought I was president of the world.
That's next.
That's
There you
the
go.
globe on her.
There you go.
No, but it's not just studying at UCCI that really made me a bit more mature. It's also being a part of student government because understanding that you are the face and the voice and the ears of the student body. So I know that in my installation, I spoke to a variety of students and telling them, we are here for you. We want to hear your concerns. And, we want to bring this to the higher level, to the higher, Dr. Stacy.
There you go.
So I know that's a really big leadership role that I'm playing, and that alone I've gained a lot of experience, as well as being in the work-based learning program. And I got an opportunity to work with the marketing department at UCCI as an intern. And then I worked my way up the ladder in becoming the marketing and communications trainee.
Excellent.
With the same marketing department for now over a year. But I just recently just finished because I'm preparing myself to go to the UK to do my master's. But during that year and a half, I've learned so much that I didn't even know that it was possible.
Yeah.
From graphic designing to communicating to our students and staff and faculty to event planning. I've learned so much at UCCI alone. So
That's
I'm very
great.
grateful.
That's great.
This is something that I think we've talked about Dr. States over the years, and I'm hopeful as a community we start to appreciate it. We extend this level of community, this nurturing, safe zone so that our students, our young people can grow and can be nurtured, can develop, and to get expertise. I say this carefully but deliberately. The professionals who come from elsewhere, whether they work with government as trainee architects or engineers, they get thrown in the deep end to work on big projects. Whether they work in the private sector, end of the profession, they've shared, even here many times publicly, that the level of experience and exposure that they get in this small market is akin to what they get anywhere else, but they would not get that because they're 1 in a billion. Here they're only one person. The demand is there, but the supply isn't. What you provide gives students like Leo with the ethos, the work ethic, with the intellect and the ambition, the drive, the desire to excel. We just need to embrace it and celebrate it.
I have tears in my eyes because as I'm listening to Leah, she is the exemplification of why it matters. Why does it matter that we have a university here in the Cayman Islands that can provide associate, bachelor's, graduate, technical, vocational, because our remit is nation building. And so during the time that Leah is learning, she's also giving back to this community.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't happen to mention that she was part of a group of student leaders that convened a candidate forum. Right? So you start to see why it matters, because that's what universities do. And student government is a place where you refine leadership abilities, and you do it not in an insular way within the university, but by impacting and influencing your community. And so the ability to refine her interests in marketing and become more resolute, not just about marketing, but as she explained to me, what type of marketing I'm interested in. And she created a whole portfolio of work that benefited the university, benefited the community. And if she had not been here, somebody else would have benefited from her talent. And so we were able to benefit from that in the Cayman Islands. And so it's the reason we do what we do, and why we're all passionate about education. But this young lady makes us all very proud.
Yeah, well, I share your sentiments, and I know Michael likewise. Whether we know the family,
I'm sitting here smiling, just listening. Wow, wow.
I think it reminds us how important it is that we need to move beyond the personalities sometimes, and look at the principles and policies, and emphasize the importance of we use that word sometimes, our phrase nation building, but we don't really embrace it as a community and how it extends. So, Leah, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your shoulders, and we're looking to you for great things, but I believe as a community we need to draw alongside you and men like you, those students who just graduated, those who are hoping to join up in the next cohort, so that we build together and we make education what it is, the true pillar in our society. It starts in registration.
Yeah.
We have, I often heard the pastor talk about a joke where the fella's praying, to win the lottery. God, please help me win the lottery. Win the lottery. Every day he prays. He said,
That's
one
me.
day, the voice comes back, well, buy a ticket. Right? So we gotta buy the ticket. We gotta go in and make the physical. We gotta do something.
Yeah.
So how do we do that thing in order to start the ball rolling and end up the Leahs of the world?
I think the hardest thing for most people is taking the first step. So people don't always know what they want to do, or they're worried about going back to education if they're adults and they've had a break. And I think the important thing is just come in and talk to us. Look on the website, come in and speak to somebody, have a face-to-face, and we will find something that's right for you. There's something for everybody generally, and like I said, there's so many ways to apply. You can apply online, in person, over the phone. It's just about taking that first step, and we hold people's hands all the way through the process. If people are confident, they can do the online application themselves if they know what they want. If they don't, we will help you do it every step of the way.
Excellent.
So just come in, just make the call, just look on the website, just get in contact.
And if I might add one piece that's important, because the other reason that people often don't start or finish is because financial needs. And Sterling, as long as I've been here, we've said we have to build more resources for those who want to study higher education in the Cayman Islands, and we've been doing just that. We've had a lot of generous people that have, once they've gotten to know UCCI, have said we want to make our dollars available to support those studying locally. Our campaign is Study Local, Go Far. But just this year alone, we have more than $50,000 that we are distributing in scholarships and aid for those studying at UCCI, and we look forward to continuing to build that. I have a number of opportunities that are being finalized right now that will lead to even more, whether it's you want to do a work-study program, like our work-based learning program, serving as an intern and learning at the university first and then being placed with employers later, or you're really looking for a grant to help you support you in your program to reduce the cost, or a scholarship. All those are possible now at UCCI, and we're going to continue to build that. That's an important part of the equation. So thank you, Michael.
The important part of that as well is that they're open now. A lot of our scholarships are open now for application. So again, there's a page on the website, or people can come in to talk to an advisor. They will tell them about the scholarships open now. So you can apply as you're applying for your course, and hopefully they will both happen at the same time, which
that would be nice.
Yeah, wow. I think that we create many impediments for ourselves, perceived and imagine often, and we fail to take the first step because of misconception, sometimes just apprehension, sometimes we're just a little bit, too complacent. But, what is the Chinese remind us? The longest journey starts with a single step.
Journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
That's how it goes, huh? See that, boy?
Like
If you want to enjoy the catboat, you better get in. Miss Leon, we're proud of you. Congrats to you.
Thank you. And please don't leave.
And when you do return.
So what you need to do on your next survey is please expand to a master's program here. And then, you'll see you accomplished one thing with the UCCI. So there you go.
I share that, but equally, I think the importance of being able to study abroad, whether that's a secondment.
Absolutely.
Our seafarers, I think, gained great knowledge and wisdom, and was invaluable because they travel the globe.
Yes.
Having our students work as they study, having them travel and study abroad for a semester or a year, or
absolutely,
it's nothing like that level of experience. So may you be, not just enjoy your time, but be safe, productive, and no matter how far you go. I always tell my daughter, home is just around the corner. So always be ready to return.
And we wish you continued success.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Stacey, thank you very much, Ms. Thompson.
Always, ladies,
hope
everyone.
people will check out, www.ucci.edu.ky. If not, just call the university. Go by the. We can still get into the campus.
We're easy to find.
There you go. Not far from the boxing gym. I see that.
There you go.
All right, we're going to pause and take a short break. When we come back, more talk today. So stay tuned.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
Census 2021. Come on, get ready. Census starting 10th of October 2021. Census West Bay, you ready? Census East End, we coming. Census everyone will be counted. Census 2021. Census but in town, are you ready? Census Georgetown, we coming. Your info will be secret. Northside, get ready. Rockers will be counted. Little Cayman, we coming. People, get ready. 2021. Todos se cuentan. Latinos serán contados. Filipinos bajanda. 2021 census. Papa, are you ready? Mama will be counted. Children and toddlers. 2021. Information is secret. 2021 census starting October 10th. 2021 census. 2021 census. 2021 census. Everyone counts.
Celebrate the Queen's birthday weekend by taking part in the Botanic Park's 5K Run Walk. Come out to the park on Sunday, June 13th and help raise funds for the Children's Garden Development. Your $25 fee includes a t-shirt, breakfast, and a chance to win in our prize draw. Enter the Royal Fascinator Design Challenge and take home the trophy for the best design. The Botanic Park's Queen's Birthday 5K, Sunday, June 13th. Register now at racecaribbean.net.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism, Cayman National Bank, Water Authority Cayman, Coca-Cola, Fidelity, and High Impact Media.
When you're tight on time and budget, but big on flavor, Subway's Meal of the Day hits the spot. Enjoy daily meals on classic sandwiches like tuna, Black Forest ham, meatball marinara, and more. Starting at $6.25 for 6-inch meals and $8.75 for footlongs. You can get Subway's Meal of the Day. Enjoy a different sandwich on a different day for the same price. Mix it up with cookies or chips or waffle fries for the same price. Subway, eat fresh.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us as we invite you now for our discussion on the Bridge Foundation. Miss Emma Sabrina Powell. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Oh, bless. Mr. Bobulinski, thanks very much. As we talk about the Bridge Foundation, I think, Michael, we're starting to appreciate that within the community there are much challenges that our citizens face, but as much as the community is doing and much more we can do if we work in hand in glove. So, Ms. Sabrina, from that perspective, we appreciate the notion that too much is given, much is given, much is required, but at the end of the day, we don't know how much we're able to give until we just give and give and give. There are a lot who will take. So thank you for being one of those who give. As you draw close to the mic, share with us today. Good afternoon.
Okay, thanks for having us. First of all, good afternoon on behalf of the Bridge Foundation. What we do at the Bridge Foundation is basically we're known as transitional homes. We're an extension of the probation, the prison, the treatment center, Caribbean Haven, which a lot of people are not familiar with. And we also accept clients from the street. Most clients coming off the street will have already been to treatment at Caribbean Haven or, have had some exposure to recovery program. We bring the clients in, they stay with us. Initially, we give them a duration of 6 months. That's the initial period we give them, though some clients do stay longer than that. But within that the first 6 months of being there, we have special benchmarks that we try to accomplish with them. Get a passport, get a driver's license, or renew their driver's license, because if they do have one, it's usually expired, that kind of thing. We try to get them a bank account. We have a relationship with the Bank of Butterfield, and they're really excellent with getting these guys bank accounts where they normally would not be able to get them otherwise. Right. The passport, the bank account, the driver's license, a birth certificate, any paperwork that they may need to function, even voters' IDs, that kind of thing. Yeah. The things, the necessities that are required to be able to go out into the community and be a productive citizen. And in doing all of that, we also encourage them, or we try our endeavor best to, within that 6 months, have them either go work at our sister company, the Beacon Farms, or help them get a job if they're not interested in that type of work, So once a person meets the 6 months benchmarks, then we reevaluate the individual, because at that time the individual may still not have a decent place to go to live, or would end up going back to the same environment, that kind of thing. Different circumstances give us different results with each individual, but we work with these people. Like I said, some people are in our homes for a year, others are in the home and after a year have actually become a part of our staff.
Wow.
Yeah. I myself, the operations manager, Mr. Bud, Mike Gilson, who's our resident manager, are actually, we've all been a part of the bridge before becoming employees there.
Oh, wow. That's testament to quite a bit.
And we have an individual now that's temporarily, he's actually a client, but he's temporarily covering for our resident manager who's just had hip replacement surgery. So we try to not only limit them to what's going on the outside world, but we welcome to endeavor to become a part of what we're doing, even if they leave and go out there. I
would imagine that sort of situation creates an excellent platform too, because you are truly assisting those from your own experience and able to
Mr. Bud.
I hate to interrupt, Emma, but I need to get a word in before we have to leave. Emma has hit on all of the on the major points. Yes, we get our referrals from, like she said, the probation department, from Caribbean Haven Counseling Center.
Yes, sir.
Off the street, and the men and women who come to us are almost broken,
Yes, sir.
And all we try to do is build some of that self-esteem back in them and let them know what they can do. We let them know where the resources are, that they have to do the legwork.
Yes, sir.
But we'll assist them getting all of those things it takes to life skills in order to be able to operate and matriculate out in the real world. Let me a couple of the background information is this would be the 10th year that we've been in operation this year, 2021. And pre-COVID, we were averaging about 38 men and up to 8 women coming through the program a year.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it was 4 women, what the average came out to.
Yeah.
And out of that, we have about a 38% success rate.
Okay.
Now, that might sound low, but that's incredibly high for people that are dealing with addiction.
Yes, sir.
So we've even beat the international standard over in the United States, which is closer to the 32, I believe.
Congratulations.
Is what I heard. Anyway, we started 10 years ago, and it was just a coincidence that it happened that the National Security Council had commissioned a report called the Crime Reduction Strategy. Okay. It was published out in around 2010, I think.
Yeah.
It's on the internet. And the 3 pillars that they were working on were early intervention. The second was reducing recidivism, that's reoffending. And the third was enforcement. I hope I'm getting this right, but I think I'm close enough.
Yes, sir.
And where we fit right in, was just a coincidence, was with the curbing the recidivism rate.
Okay.
Because the men and women that we were bringing in, most of them had been through
quite a number of cycles.
A number of cycles through the courts and whatever, but in and out of Northward and Fairbanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and our job was to see what we could do to keep the reoffending rate
down. Yeah.
Now, 38% were people that left our facility that were clean and sober and had safe housing.
Yes, sir.
But we had a greater percentage, closer to 50% 50% of people who never reoffended again.
Awesome.
Okay. And that was the main thrust of what we're doing. Now we are keeping closer tabs on everyone who gets through the program, so that we can build our statistics and also build, build our good stead with the government who supports us. And without their support, and we're extremely grateful. We couldn't have continued on these many years. But we feel that we're doing service to the community. This is a nonprofit, and as Emma said, the succession planning that we have is the operations manager now, Emma and Mike Gilson, myself. We have all come through the program. Okay, so we all have the experience. We've all run the gamut of incarceration. Treatment centers, etc.
Yes, sir.
We've kind of cleaned up our act and stayed that way, but that's the message that we can carry and instill to the guys and the women that come through us.
Absolutely.
It's just fascinating. It's so rewarding.
I can't even begin to imagine how rewarding it must feel doing the work that you do, especially from the numbers that you're speaking about, because as you said, to the general person, I guess 38% does not sound like a fantastic number, but in consideration of just about anything, that's a very high percentage rate to be able to speak about and to have achieved.
Well, we're proud of that, and we work closely with the we don't call them clients, our residents.
Yes, sir.
But even Emma and Mike, or not Emma, but Jack, are now directors on the board with myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The originators, the founders that were along with me had moved out, and then we brought in staff.
That's fantastic.
So we're growing it from within, and
that's truly grassroots growth.
It's all grassroots.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's
and it's great when you go to a treatment center and the people there are all book trained, but there's nothing like having people that have been through the actual experience to assist you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm honestly going to tell you, I've worked in a lot of different areas throughout my life, and this is the most rewarding job that I have ever done. When I first came into the program, I was coming off of a 2-year binge.
Wow.
And that was way back in 2009. And I got involved in the program, but I didn't follow what they suggested. You know, after being involved with the program for a while, I decided I could do it on my own, and I did manage for a while, quite a while actually, almost 6 years, and then I relapsed. But fortunately for me, I knew Mr. Budden, and I reached out to him eventually, and he gave me that second chance.
Awesome.
And that's gotten me to where I am today. I'm from an active crack addict to along with other drugs to a director in the company. That's been quite a walk for me, and I couldn't have done that without the support of him, because like I said before, when I didn't believe in myself, he believed in me, and he saw things in me that I couldn't see any longer because I'd lost all hope.
Yes.
And it was through his encouragement, and that why I'm here, where I am today, and I'm proud of to be a part of the Bridge Foundation. We just recently had a campaign that we ran for the month of May, where we're trying to raise the funding to purchase the properties that we have been renting for the last 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And if we're successful with that, we have the intention of actually completing up building that's already on the compound to add facilities for women, because we're lacking in that area right now.
Okay.
But you know, the difference between us helping an individual or 100 individual is the bottom line for everything. Money.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And
well, I sure hope the community comes together and gives you the financial support to truly help the bridge to grow and be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Because from all that you're saying, I mean, the very name is so appropriate, being that bridge between somebody who is, for want of other words and the words you have used, kind of lost all hope, to then be that bridge to get you back into some place where you feel like you have a purpose and there is reason for life, and to be able to contribute to our community even further is absolutely incredible. I really hope that those who are listening out there who have the financial fortitude come on board to assist you in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
though we've been around for 10 years, really, we're not many people know about what we do.
Yes, sir.
And the people, mainly because if there was a beauty contest for all the charities on island, drug addicts and alcoholics and ex-cons
yes.
Would kind of be at the end there somewhere.
Yes.
So there's a stigma that comes along with the group that we work with
yes,
the
sir.
population. Yet, I think everyone has a family member or someone that they know, associate, that might have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we're there, to offer we're not a treatment center. We are not a treatment center. We're transitional housing.
Yes, sir.
But like Emma said, we don't have the degrees and all the numbers or letters behind our names, but we've been through it.
Right.
We're boots on the ground and we work it every day. So
yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's pause quickly, take us quick little break. When we come back, we can continue the discussion as we talk about the Bridge Foundation. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's time to stop giving dads tools and ties for Father's Day. Dads want to relax just as much as you. Get the ultimate chillaxing beach kit for Father's Day at Savannah Pharmacy. Beach shorts, shirts, flip-flops, water shoes, goggles, towels, and sunblock. Let Dad kick back and relax this Father's Day. Gift baskets, including domino sets, coffee mugs, and so much more, are also available. Get all of your Father's Day purchases at Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336.
I love my daddy, yes sirree.
It's Not Tool Fest again at A.L. Thompson's. Tool Fest is the annual 2-day event held since 2009. Not Tool Fest is our travel-restricted version. Instead of 2 days, Not Tool Fest is 2 weeks of the best prices of the year on select tools, buy one, get one offers, and a free laser level with tool purchases over $200. So plan now for a Not event that you cannot miss. May 21st through June 5th at A.L. Thompson's. It's Not Tool Fest, but it's almost as good.
I've been looking forward to this barbecue all week.
Don't forget to put out my potato salad now.
How could we ever forget that?
We got everything ready?
Just need the chicken and the ribs. Honey, you have those ready?
Here you go.
Why are they still frozen?
'Cause they were in the freezer.
With no deductible on your home for non-catastrophic events, we're like a barbecue where you didn't forget to defrost the meat.
Are we vegetarians, no?
Just eat the rice.
CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And in the studio, joining me is Mr. Michael McLaughlin. I sincerely appreciate you taking some time out of your very busy schedule to sit with us now as we talk about the Bridge Foundation. Mr. Bud putting this kid together with that indomitable spirit of Amber Sabrina Powell. So we appreciate it, man. And I think you referenced it quite early and appropriately, Mike. The notion that there can be degrees in multiple levels of training, skills, and qualifications, but life experience. Was it the words, he who feels it, knows it. So, Emma, from that perspective, if you've been there, done that, there's empathy, you can relate to what's happening, but you can speak with a sense of sincerity. You can really be genuine and say, listen, bro, I know what you're feeling. I've been there. You know, that love is there. It's evident.
Well, the staff from one of the greatest advantages that the staff of the Bridge Foundation has is their passion for what they do, you know, and whether anybody in Cayman wants to admit it or not, the bottom line is that addiction affects everyone on this island. The ripple effect does not escape anyone, you know, whether it be somebody breaking into your home or somebody constantly knocking on your door begging you for something, you know, or the filthy individual that has, you know, doesn't care about himself in the middle of a cruise ship landing with all the, you know, it has a ripple effect, and it affects every single person on this island, whether in some way or the other, you know, and the thing with the Bridge Foundation, in our position right now, we've constantly got a waiting list for men, because men, it seems to be affected by addiction a lot more than women are, but there are women out there as well that, you know, need our help and do get our help when they ask for it. But we're in a position now where we need to expand on our facilities, you know, and we're trying to buy the property that we have, because if we're able to buy that property, we've been renting it for 10 years, you know, and it costs approximately $40,000 a year just for rent alone.
Wow.
And if we could buy that property, we could eliminate the cost of having to pay the rent, and that those funds could go towards expanding the property that we have. We have a unit at the back that's pre-construction, and we have every intention of, once we buy the property, you know, building units on the top of that where we can accommodate women, that kind of thing, and then eventually expanding so that we can accommodate more women. Because
that's great.
And we have goals, we have dreams, but like I said, you know, the difference between us doing this and us staying where we are right now is assistance from the public, you know, in the private sectors. We need that financial backing, because the government does give us support, but we need so much more, you know, and we've been really struggling, especially since the COVID, because like Mr. Bud said, you know, if it was a beauty contest for the NPOs, we'd be at the back always, you know what I mean? But we do, you know, have some loyal supporters, and that's what we're looking for. You know, you don't have to give us $100,000 a year or $10,000 a year, even, you know, if you find it in your budget to commit to giving us $1,000 a year, it all adds up, you know,
absolutely.
and it makes that might just save the life of one person, or it might save the life of 10.
Yes.
Depends.
Yeah. Well, I sure, again, I'm going to say it again. I really hope that those who are listening today that have the financial ability to assist you guys really come on board to try and get that going in the right direction, even to the current facility that you said you're renting. I would personally appeal to the individual who owns it to try and come up with some way, some sort of agreement that you guys can reach in terms of moving forward, you know, partial payment of the rent goes towards purchase or something that, you know, obviously if you've been doing it for 10 years,
but to speak on that, you know, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the individual that owns the property would be more than happy if he was in a financial position to do that with us. But he has he's going through some really serious mental complications right now, and he's not in that financial position. You know what I mean? Because he's actually pretty involved with the recovery himself, but that's not an option for him. You know. So that's why we're reaching out to the public, the Cayman Islands public, and anybody else in the world that might be listening to this. Indeed. You know, help us if you can. You know, if you can't, we totally understand that.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't always have to be financial assistance that you offer us. You know, it's maybe you have a construction company that once we start, you know, expand, and you'd be willing to donate time time.
Time and labor.
I mean, you own material, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. You're a furniture store. Anybody that can assist us in any way.
Excellent.
That's so we're not just expecting people to dig in their pockets if that's not a means for them.
Right.
You know, any assistance that we can be offered would be accepted.
So after the news break now, we can continue. But I know, Mr. Bud, you want to get back to your regular scheduled day, as it were. Any closing thoughts you want to leave with our listeners?
I think Emma is doing a fine
Awesome.
job with it.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to add is if there's anyone who out there who needs help or thinks they would want to come down and see what it's all about, there's 12-step meetings in our clubhouse, which is on our campus, right in West Bay off of Hill Road. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon, and then on Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock. The public is welcome. You know, we have open meetings. Tourists will come to the clubhouse, or the people living in the community from every social, economic strata you could think of. But go on our website. It's the Bridge Foundation Cayman.org, www.thebridgefoundationcayman.org, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about what we're doing, and also give you some background on the campaign we're running right now. If it's any kind of a serious matter, you can call me. My number's all over the website. It's 926-4053. That's 926-4053. And Emma will give you her number when we leave, okay?
Excellent.
All right.
But thank you so much for having us.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Budden. And when we come back, Emma, you'll stay with us and we'll chat some more. We'll get people to appreciate that, as she said, addiction impacts and affects all of us to some level, not just that individual and their connected families, the employees, the wider community, but all of us. So rejoin us after the break. Please stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm Shanda Gallego with your latest headlines. Government reported the results of 232 COVID-19 tests on Wednesday. All were negative. So far, an estimated 69% of the Cayman population has gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. Turning to international news, the UK government revealed on Thursday its first changes to travel traffic light system, which it introduced last month. But there was disappointment for the travel and tourism industries and would-be holidaymakers. There were widespread hopes for fresh destinations to be added to England's green list of countries where quarantine-free travel is permitted. However, no countries have been added, and the most popular tourist destination on the original list, Portugal, has been moved to the amber list. Climate change poses serious risks to the stability of the financial system, a senior International Monetary Fund official told CNN Business. Director of the IMF's Monetary and Capital Markets Department, Tobias Adrian, said the climate crisis could, quote, absolutely ignite a financial crisis. The climate crisis is slow in the making, but it's potentially disastrous, Adrian said in an interview from the sidelines of the Green Swan Conference, a virtual event focused on how the financial industry can take action against climate risks. And two men's doubles players at this year's French Open have tested positive for COVID-19 and are now in quarantine, organizers confirmed. The players, both from the same team, have subsequently been removed from the draw, which began on Sunday. The unknown pair will be replaced by the first team on the alternate list. This year's tournament was due to begin a week earlier, but was pushed back to allow a limited number of fans to watch. It comes just 7 months after the last edition, which was postponed to September 2020 amid the pandemic. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Michael McLaughlin for sitting with us. And, either you're a sucker for punishment or you're really the commendable guy that I think you are, and gracious to give yourself your time to share with me. So appreciate it, man.
I'm glad to be here, sir.
Sucker for punishment, he says. No, man, no. All seriousness, this is the capacity that we are building within the community. And I think as we talk about the Bridge Foundation, Ms. Amber Sabrina Powell, you reminds us, through what you were saying, you remind us of the importance of us working together to appreciating that addiction affects all of us, not just the individual. If I could then ask, just for clarity, sometimes when we hear of addiction, we may think of the drug addict, and when we hear the drug addict, we might only think of the person who is doing something other than alcohol. But in my mind, alcohol is a drug, maybe the most dangerous. So for your program, what types of addictions do you deal with? Now, it's not a treatment facility. We don't emphasize that, but what it is. But what types of addiction and what drugs and the like? Well, share with us.
Before I answer your question, I would just like to elaborate a little bit on what the closing comment that Mr. Bud just made, about help, people needing help and reaching out, because there's a lot of people that feel like, oh, my son's an addict, and that's something to be ashamed of. It's not something to be ashamed of. Addiction is a disease, and it's that's been medically proven that it is a disease, and it's shame doesn't help. You know, we all come into this program, if we're addicts or active, with shame, fear, remorse, and quite often, the source of that result is some childhood trauma that the child has not been able to deal with or something like that. There's different contributing factors, but I just wanted people to know, that a lot of people don't know where to look for help. And the Bridge is probably not the exact place you should go directly first, because we do have a treatment center, but with the lack of knowledge about the treatment center itself, I want the public to know that they're free to reach out to us, and we will assist with getting the individuals to the treatment center or wherever they need, make suggestions. We can't force anyone to do anything, but we can make suggestions on what we think is best for them. And we'll do whatever we can to help. And before I forget, I just want to give the public my number, because my number is 917-9034. And anybody that you think might need help, feel free to give me a call, and I'll connect you to the people that can help if I'm not able to. Can you just ask me your question?
The question was the types of addictions, because sometimes we think of drug addiction, but we won't think of other things other than alcohol. So,
well, basically, we don't deal with shopaholics and and food addictions and stuff like that. Unfortunately, because there's a lot of those different. There's a lot of different types of addiction, but our focus on addiction is usually with people with substance abuse. Alcohol, crack, heroin, and LSD, pills, marijuana, anything like that. Any addiction that has a mind-altering ability,
Now, if I may ask, and you may not have this to hand right now, but it's just a general question. When we look at addictions, the substance abuse that you shared, I wonder to what extent either the Bridge Foundation or even the community in general, but from the Bridge Foundation's perspective, do you have any kind of numbers on those that come through your doors, how many are addicted to alcohol or some other drug, whatever the drug is, the substance abuse, LSD, heroin, maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 5%,
Well, we tend to get a lot more people coming in that struggle with crack addiction, alcohol addiction, marijuana. You know,
Okay.
the softer drugs, we don't get a lot of people, and the pills, that kind of thing. We don't get a lot of people with, you know, like the LSD and the heroin and that kind of thing, though it is knowledge that those drugs are also available on Ireland right now. You know, there's a lot of pill popping with the teenagers and different type things I've never even heard about, you know, so it'd be hard for me to explain.
Right.
Can we just back up? You said the pill popping, but you also said LSD and some of the drugs that are on Ireland that we probably don't hear a lot about. Heroin,
LSD, a lot of different types of pills, you know, it's popular. Ecstasy is popular amongst the younger kids. The statistics on the different types of drugs and that kind of thing, better group to reach out to for information on that would probably be the National Drug Council, because they do regular studies. There's one coming up very shortly now in the schools where they'll be, you know, analyzing those kinds of things.
Yeah. But I think that, you know, and that's the important part of Michael. That we live in this community, and oftentimes we don't appreciate that the same level of behaviors that would transpire in the cities with, you know, 5 million or what have you. Where people are finding these drugs, and they are occurring here. That level of substance abuse. I'm glad that you shared that. That we're not, and we should not push these people out.
Yeah. Or think that it doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah. That's something that we had mentioned before too in passing during the break, is that I think a lot of times in society that people choose to ignore those situations. They don't want to actually face them. They feel more comfortable pretending like it doesn't exist. And I think that's really important. That's what we were saying before, right?
Yeah, because, okay, for example, a crack addict or a heroin addict, it's going to become a lot more obvious to the public a lot faster. But a pill popper, you know, they'll be in a nightclub and they'll pop an ecstasy pill or something like that, you know, some upper or some downer or whatever, their drug of choice or their pill of choice. And their behavior comes across as fairly normal because majority of the other persons in the club is under the influence of alcohol.
Yes.
So they don't even notice that this individual is behaving differently, or is that they accept it as, it's just normal behavior. They're just a little drunker than I am.
Yeah,
or that kind
that's
of
what I was
behavior.
about to say. They're figuring that the influence of the alcohol or the general substance that people are consuming is what is fueling that person's action. Rather than recognizing it as something else being a contributing factor.
Yeah.
And
it's not that simple to identify an individual with those kinds of problems, because like the incident with the brownies in the school the other day, you know, how long has that been going on? Nobody knows, and if it hadn't gotten to the stage where those kids got sick, you know, who's to know how long it would go on?
Would have continued.
And who's to know what else is going on in these schools?
Yes.
That's why my hat goes off to the National Drug Council, because they do these studies every year, and they're anonymous, so the kids get to be honest and talk about what they've been exposed to and what they've had. Their friends have been exposed to, that kind of thing.
Without fear of repercussion.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that the knowledge comes in, that empowers us so that we are able to honestly look at what is transpiring in our society. And maybe when we come back from the break, we can talk more about that, because as you discuss some of the drugs, it's evident that these things are readily available in our society. They must be accessible by those who want it. And sadly, you could inadvertently, whether it's through the brownies or someone maliciously and very stupidly putting something in your drink that you've ordered or mixing with your food unbeknownst to you, how much of this is transpiring, how many people are becoming, inadvertently addicted, sick, or potentially dying, whether here or other places, because these are practices that occur, whether here or elsewhere. Are we oblivious and ignorant to the thought that it may not be happening here? How do we help? So when we come back, we can talk more about what you're doing. The quick reminder that the services that you're providing, from getting a passport to a voter's ID to all other things, a lot of us take that for granted. Here are people that never probably had that hope, no prospect, no knowledge, or know-how to do so. So
and because of their history, it would be virtually be impossible without our assistance.
There you go. I'm going to pause and take a break. The phone lines are open if you want to be a part of a discussion as we talk about, rehabilitation, the whole notion of addiction, but the transition houses that exist, in this case, the Bridge Foundation. Please join us after the break.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cable.
Praise time.
Praise Him, praise Him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise Him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise Him, praise Him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite.
Praise time.
I know He cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
The 7 a.m. news, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britke Insurance, Health, Pensions, Life, where people come first.
Student registration for the 2021-2022 academic school year is open to the public from 8th of April to 30th of June 2021. Students must now be registered online at schools.edu.ky. Parents will have the ability to enter the students' information and securely upload all relevant documents. If you need assistance, please contact the Department of Education Services at 945-1199 or email edu.registration@gov.ky.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks too to Michael McLaughlin for being a part of our discussion today. And I hope if your schedule opens up tomorrow or Saturday, you can have the day for yourself. Saturday.
I can have a day off on Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you open back up.
You're generous, boy.
I know. Susan says going to be working, so she'll be here. As we talk about the Bridge Foundation and the idea that addiction and substance abuse and recovery and the notion that it's a community effort because it affects us all. It's Emma, Sabrina Powell. Thank you for sharing. In the break, though, as we were talking about it should not be lost on us that even us as seemingly, individuals who have good community support, good familial support, we're nurtured, we're encouraged, we're empowered, we're seen to be on a path. Be challenged with getting a voter's ID card. We're challenged to open up a bank account for ourselves or for our children. How do we not only apply but renew our passports? Little things that should not be a challenge. The fact that you assist your residents, your clientele. As you said, these are things that probably would not happen for them.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't happen overnight with us, you know. It took us a while. We did a lot of footwork and get established in relationships with the bank. The bank we bank with normally is Butterfield, but CNB did play a part in with our clients for a while.
Okay.
And they still do assist us if necessary. We had to communicate with two different persons in the passport offices. Their voters registration card is something that really can't be denied to an individual, you know, as long as they haven't committed certain crimes. So, but then you have to realize that an addict is usually coming into a program like this. They're very insecure.
Sure.
You know, they don't have that confidence, that kind of thing. And just the fact that they know, well, okay, I need this and I can get support. We support them financially if necessary, and we'll sit down with them. We'll do the paperwork with them. Some of them are unable to do that kind of stuff by themselves, and we'll actually you know, be generous enough if we're going into town, drop the individual to wherever he needs to go, you know. But we do assist in any way, in every way that we can, to make sure that when a resident leaves our establishment, that they're able to, as long as they're willing to become a productive system of, and you know, it's like not everybody is successful. Not everybody is successful. We've had people come through our halfway homes more than once, you know, but usually by the third time, if an individual does come there for a third time, they've had enough of being, you know, enough of the pain and enough of the shame, you know, remorse, that kind of thing, that they put a lot more effort into it, you know. So we might not have success with an individual the first time or the second time, or we might have a couple of times before we were successful with that individual, but we never turn our back on that individual, not because he's already been there before. We tried with you and we didn't, and we failed. That's excellent. We never look at it as a failure, you know, because we've changed that individual life, even if it's just in the smallest way, you know. We've they say in the certain programs, you know, if you know, going to this 12-step meeting doesn't do anything else for you, it'll mess up your next high. and it does, because once you're exposed to this kind of treatment, you know, this kind of environment, the next time, say you're a person that struggles with alcoholism, the next time you go and you actually have a drink, that's going to be in your subconscious, you know, that's going to be in your subconscious, and that might just be all it takes for that individual to say, well, you know what, what am I doing? What am I doing? You know, and that might be enough to make that individual then decide, you know what, let me just get this right, you know, give this my best, you know. And we've lost a few individuals, you know, who've passed on, but you know, the greatest thing about that is they passed on clean and sober.
That's
you know,
great.
So, you know, they lived the balance of their life once they came into this program, and went on to greener pastures, you know, to clean and sober, and most likely with having established a relationship with the God of their understanding.
There you go.
You know?
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you made that comment about those who don't achieve what they want to achieve or hoping to achieve on their first attempt. Because being an ex-smoker myself, it was several attempts before I finally managed to stop smoking. But it really comes out of, as you said, your subconscious, where you're thinking about this thing every time that you have that backwards step, if you will. There are things that are triggered in your mind as you continue to go down that road. It's like, oh man, you think back on, and then it helps you to make that next advancement each time to the point of where you get success. So I think that's fantastic. You guys continue to accept those individuals back in and continue to assist however you can.
We never give up on an individual. The only reason that an individual would be actually rejected by your establishment would be if the individual was a threat to someone, aggressive or something like that. But
of a violent nature,
we believe there's always hope. Once an addict is alive, there's always hope for that individual, And talking about smoking, I remember my dad died when I was 9 years old, and even before my dad died, I remember they go out to the clubs at the night, and we'd go next door to my aunt's house, and they'd be in there smoking cigarettes. You didn't even know how to smoke a cigarette. You just pulling on a cigarette and blowing the smoke out. But cigarette became one of my addictions, and as soon as I was old enough, even probably before I was old enough to legally smoke, I was smoking cigarettes, and I never thought I'd be able to give up smoking, you know. I did it once for a few months when I was living in the States, because the gentleman I lived in the house with had Alzheimer's. He had emphysema.
Okay.
And so I realized that he was still stealing my cigarettes. So for him, I actually gave it up.
Wow.
And I came home and I got off the plane and went straight to this gas station to buy a pack of cigarettes. And that's how strong my addiction was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But today it's I think I'm getting close to 6 months. I'm not keeping track at the time, but I think I'm getting close to 6 months that I have not actually smoked a cigarette.
Congratulations.
And some things take a little longer for us to kick, and others, we can kick. And it's it depends a lot, I think, on the stability of the home that the individual came from.
Yes.
Not to say that addicts don't come from stable homes, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because quite often kids go through things that parents are not even aware that they've experienced, and that kind of thing. But you speak to the average addict or majority addicts, and they will tell you that they tell their story about their childhood, and you'll identify something in there that probably was the
trigger
thing that actually started them on down that road of addiction.
I can appreciate what you're saying, that's for sure. And I now know, a lot of times something that parents ignore is or don't place enough importance on is peer pressure, because their young ones are out there, and each child comes from a different environment, and what they're exposed to, just as what you relayed just now about what you were exposed to, and maybe the young person that you associate with comes from an environment where neither parent smokes, they've never been, and just through that sort of association, it can be as simple as the odor of the cigarette smoke on you that starts the conversation. Why do you smell like that? And you're like, and then you want to try one or what? And it there can be a cascading effect that a lot of people don't choose to recognize, and that goes for not just cigarettes but alcohol and the entire gamut. It's completely possible. So I think it's important that that you guys are doing the work that you're doing and creating that environment for folks to be able to feel safe and welcomed to try and make those opportunities to change how their lives are. Congratulations to you.
The dynamics for me of addiction is so vast that for example, if you go into a school and you'll find that the kid that's sitting in the corner that's most, picked on and most neglected or abused or whatever, the person that's going to gravitate towards them is usually the most empathetic person in the classroom, and the empathetic person in the classroom most likely is coming from a really stable home, because they feel loved, they know what it is to be loved, and that kind of thing. And so they gravitate towards that individual. And because of the experience that individual has had, they've gone through a lot of different, they've experienced with things that a child that age should never have been exposed to or experienced, that kind of thing, Maybe they're abused, or maybe who knows what's happened. But then then that individual gets connected, and then the friends start to gather, you know, and gravitate towards each other. And then before long, you've got people that are trying to ease his comfort by sharing it. You know,
Yes.
so they're taking on
Yes.
and they're doing what he's doing and that kind of thing.
Yes.
It's like it's so vast. You know, there's no one explanation for the behavior of a person or the individual that develops or becomes a
Addictions.
drug addict.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, as we sort of close out the discussion, want you to accept publicly the invitation to join us. Hopefully Mike will be here with us, but to come back on so the community understands that there is this resource, appreciates the impact that it's having not just on that individual or that individual's family or their former co-workers or even existing colleagues, but the wider community, and that this is a life, and that life, you know, there should be a sense of hope, and you offer that. But there are ways, as Michael shared, that we can help. Yeah, we have extra money, whether it's $1,000 a year or $1,000 a day that we can contribute, whether we outright buy. But there's more than just the money. As important as that is, we shouldn't ignore it, because without it, lights don't stay on, the staff don't be paid, the resources aren't acquired. But we need to give of ourselves so that we love to contribute. You share, you know, honestly, and I think as we look at you, we can see that there's a sincere passion to help each and every single one. And I can't say it publicly enough. You make us proud, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I quite often say, you heard, you know, the person that loves the most is usually the one that's been loved the last, because they know what it is to not have been loved.
Love is in the air.
What a powerful statement. I'd like to remind folks though about the email address, which is the Bridge Foundation Cayman.org. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the website. And most of us can be reached at our first names, you know, Jack, Bud, Mike, myself, Emma, at beaconfarmscayman.org.
Okay.
You know.
And
we have our website is wonderful. You know, our website is wonderful. It's it gives you a lot of information on what we're doing, what we've done. We're 100% transparent. You know, if you're a certain donor of a certain status, you have full access to our financials, even. You know what I mean? So we're 100% transparent. We don't hide anything. You know, and we appreciate even the $5 that the individual might come up and say, well, here, this is towards, let me help you. $5 can make a difference when you don't have it.
Yeah, it certainly can. And you're making a difference. Your presence here hopefully will get people to appreciate that, you know, addiction runs the gamut and affects us all. And as you mentioned, the pill poppers, sadly we call it the designer drugs, ecstasy, but we see the impact on the lives of our young people, in particular in the behaviors. But it's alcoholism. It's all of the drugs, whether it's any substance that we're addicted to and its abuse affects us. Thank you very much. All right.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having us.
See you again. All right. Well, it's a pleasure. Mike, any sort of final thoughts for you, my friend, as we close out today's show?
I'm overwhelmed with the material we've covered today, so I'll sit here in humble silence.
Well, I'll tell you what, it shows us that in our community we have a lot to be thankful for, a lot in this community that we can look at and contribute and benefit from, you know, from the initial discussion on the dance, whether we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday to rehearsal, whether we go Saturday and Sunday for the performance, to the educational opportunities that exist right on our shores, you know, whether we start out, whether we continue, whether it's just a recreational course, but also, you know, to the challenges and struggles that our people face. They're real, but there's a sense of hope. We don't need to have despair, despondent, or live in a divided society, but we need to draw hand in hand. And as I was sort of going through the programming for today, I love music. You know, I may not be a great singer, but I sing with great joy. And thankful to say is make a joyous noise. So it sounds good, at least in my head.
There you go.
When it comes out, it might be as well. So to the song today that we selected, I wonder if Miss Susan will introduce it for us. What's the song today, Miss Susan? She won't do it, boy, I tell you. I struggle. Usually she is not afraid, but maybe it's you. She's
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
Every time I look in the mirror, I get afraid.
It's you know, Billy Joel, right? River Dreams, is the song that we're going to cue up to play. The words tell a story. He is a great storyteller. And as you look at it, you can see and you can infer, or you can actually draw some great reference to it. The river may be wide, but we get there, right, Miss Emma?
Yeah, as long as you're alive, there's still hope.
Yeah, man, there's hope. Well, teaching everyone, today's Thursday still, so Mike, if you're able, you join us tomorrow, if not Monday, if not Tuesday, whenever your time allows, just come right back. We'll invite our people to join. We start in the morning for the record. Come back for Talk Today right after the midday news, the midday meditation. When you tune into Radio Cayman, you don't have to bother to change the dial because everything we have is available to you. And as the music sort of soothes the soul and imbues the spirit, may it cause you to be ever more pensive, productive, and pleasant. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. And Royal Fidelity Bank and Trust, money at work.